People often ask me why I love the ocean so much, and my answer is always the same. Because the ocean is what connects us all. It is the lifeblood of our world. It moves, it balances, it gives, it takes. And right now, our oceans are changing, drastically before our own eyes, directly linked to human activities on our world that are affecting and changing the oceans as we know them, changing them faster than we can track. My name is Rosie Poirier, and I am the 2022 North American Our World Underwater Scholar. This year has taken me on a life-changing journey across the world, working with people at the forefront of conservation, resource management, storytelling, dive exploration, and training. What I have learned in this year has left me in awe of the incredible force and importance of our marine ecosystems at the core of the balance of life on our planet. I went into this year determined to find solutions and to learn from communities that prioritize a culture of sustainable interactions with our oceans. What I found gave me hope. I began this journey by diving into fisheries management in the Pacific Northwest, where I first spent 2 weeks aboard a commercial halibut fishing boat with Tiare Boys and her fishing family. Fisheries often have a negative reputation in the marine conservation world, but with 1 billion people in the world relying on fish as their primary source of protein, it is important to champion well-managed fisheries. During our 12 days at sea aboard the Borealis 1, I was engaged in all aspects of fishing and taught about the methods used in groundfish management to reduce bycatch within the industry. I saw how each fish was recorded, weighed, and then checked by a third-party organization when landed at the dock, and how the use of individual transferable quotas in Canada was reducing the bycatch of the fishing industry. It gave me hope to see fisheries managed effectively and to spend time with those in the fisheries industry who are passionate about sustainable fishing. I followed this with a week at the Moss Landing Marine Laboratories, where I was able to explore food security through aquaculture technologies that are reducing pressures on wild-caught fish. Moss Landing is developing technologies for seaweed farming and harvesting and studying ways to reduce the carbon footprint of fisheries by shifting to herbivorous fish species and increasing the potential of closed-circuit aquaculture on land. These sorts of innovative technologies will improve food security and reduce the ecological impact of fisheries worldwide. Fisheries management is just one of the many pieces at play when it comes to managing our resources sustainably. Well-managed fisheries are often coupled with marine protected areas that ensure that areas of unique biodiversity, nursery habitats, and spawning grounds are protected. I dedicated my next few months to exploring MPA management and community science in the Coral Triangle region. Before embarking on this journey, I took the time to familiarize with my new camera rig. I was invited to join a macro photography course led by Reef Photo and Video, my generous camera gear sponsors. This gave me the opportunity to practice with my strobes for the first time and to learn about the theoretical steps of macro photography. This training came just in time as I embarked to the Philippines to join the Atlantis Imagemakers, a group of renowned underwater photographers and ocean creatives led by Marty Snyderman. We were on a 2-week journey to share photography knowledge and capture the beauty of the underwater world. I spent my days underwater developing my technical skills and capturing the personalities of the smallest creatures on the reef. When I left the Imagemakers, I joined the Coastal Conservation and Education Foundation in the Philippines island of Siquijor to join their MPA assessment program. CCEF had been able to implement a very successful MPA network in Cebu that was well supported by the fishing community, who are already seeing the benefits of marine protected area networks for increasing fish abundance in their fishery grounds. We discussed with many community members about the challenges their communities face with designing successful MPAs, addressing everything from fisheries to plastics to ecotourism. Programs like the one CCF offer are integral for opening the doors for active community discussions and tackling challenges collaboratively. From the Philippines, I traveled to Indonesia, where I was able to join the initiatives of the Coral Triangle Center in Bali. I spent a week on Nusa Penida Island, piloting a new monitoring program for reef health, conducting community surveys to analyze the use of marine protected areas, and using coral outplanting techniques to restore damaged reefs. We used transects and photo documentation with quadrats to record coral and fish abundance and biodiversity, contributing to a long-term data set that helps assess the effectiveness of the marine protected areas. CTC works with the local island community on Nusa Penida to maintain the restoration sites, actively engaging communities in conservation management through science, technology, art, and culture. After Bali, I made my way to the heart of the Coral Triangle, where I spent 2 weeks in Raja Ampat, a collection of 1,500 islands with 117 coastal villages, with a well-established network of marine protected areas. In Raja Ampat, I stayed on Arborak Island, where I was invited by Gita and Anastasia to dive and assist with their community programming.
This local community done. If you guys out there, you have to come here and you have to learn from these people about how to protect their area, how to keep it sustained, how to work together as a community and as a family. So, what should I say? I love ocean because I know ocean loves me too. Right?
Gita is an inspiring leader in her community. She owns a dive shop with her husband Marcel and champions sustainable ecotourism and conservation stewardship for our island people. Gita organizes a women's community program in Raja Ampat called Mora, with the intention to provide opportunities for island women across Raja Ampat to train in ecotourism and conservation. I worked with her executive team of women, and they took me to one of the communities they work with, where we ran a marine ecosystems class for the village children. During my time in Raja Ampat, I was so inspired by the Mora women, from their passion, their dedication to their homeland, and to raising the level of opportunity for other women to be leaders in their communities. I loved getting to see Raja Ampat through Gita's eyes as she shared her favorite dive spots with me. From manta rays to schooling jacks to sea turtles feeding on jellyfish, Raja Ampat showed us its beauty, and I dream of returning again. As my time on the Coral Triangle came to a close, I began reflecting on the big pieces at play and what actions are needed on an international scale in order to address the environmental challenges of our time. This led me to attend the International Conference on Climate Change, COP27, in Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt. It gave me my first glimpse of environmental negotiation on an international scale. The experience was both encouraging and discouraging, as I observed the balance of science, politics, nonprofits, corporations, and of communities whose natural world was changing faster than they can adapt. At COP, I had the opportunity to connect to a group of impact storytellers who were determined to use stories to effect meaningful change. What I learned at COP was that at the foundation of action is care, and that the fire for action is the belief that you can do something to change things, and together this creates hope. Storytelling is a powerful tool that brings people together, helps them to find hope, and directs them to the knowledge and tools to make a difference. This led me to pursue storytelling with the BBC. From Egypt, I made my way to Bristol in the UK to join former Australasian scholar Yali Bosinger, where she works as producer at the BBC studios. With Yali, I was able to join the Blue Planet team for a few weeks during the story-building stage of productions and research interesting story leads with them. I was coached by the team to learn how to tell a story with effective story beats and how to edit shots in the most meaningful way. While at the BBC, I met and spoke with many inspiring underwater camera operators and creatives who encouraged me to pursue further dive training. My pursuit of skill building took me first to the Cayman Islands to learn freediving techniques from Kirk Kroc alongside Millie and Hannah, the two other scholars. We spent 2 weeks learning about the seemingly limitless potential of the human body to adapt to breath-hold diving, as we trained in the pool and on the line to dive deeper and longer than we ever had before. Kirk's knowledge about human physiology and his dedication to changing people's perspectives about the underwater world was immensely inspiring. Training provides an unrivaled opportunity to connect with the underwater world, and it inspired me to continue training through my scholarship year. When I next headed to Florida to do my Intro to Tech training with international training, it felt a natural step. I trained on a double configuration for the first time with Brian Shreve and was humbled by the challenge of learning a configuration so new to me. Often with training, the more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn, and the curiosity doesn't stop, it only grows. I was then invited to the Bahamas to join Brian K. Cook to complete my cave diver course in the famous underground caves of Abaco. There are times in your life when new worlds are opened. New worlds you didn't even know you would love, and yet there they are, waiting to be discovered. When I first dove in the ocean, that was one of them. When I first entered a cave, there it was again. That sense of magic and wonder, of a door forever unlocked. The caves were mesmerizing, and I loved the vigorous training with Brian that included line drills, safety training, equipment troubleshooting, that allowed me to explore the underwater passageways of these historical caves safely. Training with Brian made me a stronger diver, and it was an honor to explore these underwater caves with him. I continued my training into the new year, following up with my OWUSS scientific diving course in North Carolina with Janelle Fleming and the Sand Tiger Sharks, and then to Florida to join Jennifer Mayfield for my rebreather training. Jennifer was an incredible instructor and put my fears at ease as I learned my most challenging configuration yet on the AP Inspiration. Learning to dive without bubbles was a whole new skill set, and I was glad to have such an experienced instructor to work with. With these new technical skills under my belt, I headed to La Paz, Mexico, to join the Applied Genomics Lab with Adrian Muenga Vega and his team. In the lab, they studied genomics using novel eDNA techniques that allowed them to determine biodiversity of an underwater ecosystem from simple water samples. This technology would make it easier to collect data for fisheries management. I was excited to see the applications of eDNA to improve our ability to monitor and manage fisheries worldwide. While in Mexico, I had the chance to explore the marine ecosystems we were studying in the lab when visiting the gray whales of Baja California and diving with the sea lions on the marine reserve of Los Islotes. As I continued to explore novel technologies for management, my next step of the scholarship year took me to join former scholar Arzukan Askin in the Maldives. Arzu co-founded Miaru, a collaborative shark research organization that focuses on studying the intersection of humans and sharks. With Miaru, I spent many hours above and under the water surveying tiger shark behavior through a combination of drone and underwater footage, Miaru prioritizes capacity building and invites stakeholders to participate at all levels of science. In Miaru's first field season, they were using deep-sea cameras to assess the shark presence in deep oceans and integrating AI to accelerate data assessment using remote camera technology. As my year was nearing its end, I was invited to join blue-green expeditions at the far reaches of our world as they headed into the South Pole on a dive expedition to dive the cold polar waters of the Antarctic. This felt like the final puzzle piece of my year. Although the polar regions are so far from reach, they play a huge role in balancing the climate of our planet, and the polar ecosystems are rapidly changing. The icy waters of Antarctica host an impressive array of seabirds and marine life. I shared the waters with penguins, whales, and came face to face with leopard seals as I did my first dives in sub-zero temperatures. My creative eye was inspired by the landscape in front of me, and I spent hours painting in between dives. On our final dive in Antarctica, we dove the site of an old whaling station at Deception Island. Diving amongst the whale bones was immensely eerie, but also very special. It was a reminder that things do change for the better and on a global scale. It was a relic of how far we have come and how far we still have to go. Before this year, what I had learned about our interactions with the oceans centered around the idea that humans are harmful to the marine environment, that to protect it, we must remove ourselves from the ecosystem. But what I learned during my scholarship year is that humans have always been and will always continue to be part of the oceans. We have the choice to either be a positive force in our world or a negative one, and we have the ability to either destroy our environment or make it stronger. It is up to us to decide the future we want to live. As for me, I have hope. Having worked where science meets art, where community meets ocean, and where people are working diligently for a better future, I believe we will make the right choice. I am incredibly thankful to all those who've supported this scholarship and my learning. Everywhere I have gone, I've found friends of the Scholarship Society who have generously shared their time to invest in my learning and growth. For the training, the equipment, the inspiration, the time, and the love shown, thank you. My ocean journey has only begun, and the tools I've gained have helped me direct my work meaningfully for the future. I am especially grateful to Rolex, who has sponsored this scholarship since its beginning, allowing me to be here today. With gratitude, your 2022 North American Our World Underwater Scholar.